we don't think there's a thing that needs doing at Precision Cast Parts that would make it more efficient. They've run it efficiently from the start. Actually, we think Berkshire headquarters, for example, are efficient. We've got 25 people there, and it's the same 25 as a year ago. So I believe enormously in efficiency. I mean, it's the only way living improves is to get more output per unit of input. I mean, if we did everything the same as we did in 1790, we'd be living like we did in 1790. So the whole goal, I mean, that's what you try. Obviously, in manufacturing, it's easy to measure how many cars you get per man hour and all that. It's much more difficult, you know, if you're looking at medicine or teaching or something of the sort. But the goal of the society should be to get more output per unit of input. And some companies are extremely efficient now, and we try to buy those, and because we don't think we can bring it to them. And Georgie Powell looks, and his associates, they look for companies where there's a lot to be done to make them more efficient. And then once they are, you have a more efficient economy. And you are trying to free up people. And I use the example in the annual report of farm labor. I mean, we had 40% of the people working on the farm in 1900. And if we had 40% now of our 150 million plus workforce, we'd have 60 million, you know, I mean, and those people would not be producing, you know, at Apple and places like that, things we want. So efficiency should be the goal, whether it's government, whether it's business, you name it. And they're very good at getting inefficient operations working much more efficiently. I wouldn't be good at it, but I'm good at spotting it where people are doing it already, and I'm reasonably good at talking those people into joining Berkshire.
And I guess that's my point. When 3G and other private equity companies have gone in and laid off people, they've generated all kinds of negative headlines. Your point is that this is a necessary task. This is something that has to be done?
Sure, it has to be done. I mean, well, you're seeing it in the newspaper industry. The people who are writing about it have had to get more efficient as the revenues have declined, and probably some of them were inefficient in certain ways beforehand just because they were so rich at that time. Mm-hmm. And a rich economy can afford a lot of inefficiencies, but that doesn't mean it should have them, because in the end, we've got 320 million people in this country, and the more they are properly placed in the proper jobs that fit their talents, and that you motivate them to do the best jobs they can and all of that, the more output you get per capita, the better the country's going to be.
Andrew, you have a question too?
Warren, a number of activists actually had emailed me over the weekend because one of the interesting notes in your letter this year was you seemed, after I think years of being relatively critical of activists, you said at one point, to be sure, certain hostile offers are justified. Some CEOs forget that it is shareholders for whom they are working, while other managers are woefully inept. So when is it okay and when is it not? And has your view on activism changed?
No, it hasn't changed at all. It's the first time I've written about it in this specific arena, but I've talked about it at annual meetings in the past. I mean, we do not, if you take the Fortune 500, we do not have the 500 best quarterbacks at each one of those teams. And in the end, part of the success of our economy will depend on having the right managers running the right businesses. And any time a business is run by someone that's a 6, when you could have a 9 in there, not only the business suffers, the whole economy suffers. I mean, you need able people, and to the extent you can, the very best people running businesses. I mean, they deploy these 150 million workers we have and determine how efficient they are. So I've been a director of companies where we've had the wrong person running them. We've owned companies where we've had the wrong person running them, and I do not believe that in dilly-dallying around about making changes on that. Sometimes I've been too slow myself, and I've seen the problems in widely held corporations. I've seen the problems of getting rid of somebody who's a perfectly nice person, probably helped select you to become a director, you know, treats his family well, treats his directors well, but he's just not doing as good a job as someone else can do. And that hurts not only that company, it actually hurts all of America. So I've always felt that way. It doesn't mean I want to do that job myself. I mean, at 85, I'm not around going. It's much easier just to buy companies that are already well run. I mean, that makes my job so much easier. But the problem exists out there that certain companies are not well run, and sometimes the directors don't do anything about it, and then you need somebody to stir things up.